We live to tell the story, feel it rushing through your veins. Hello everybody, welcome to Mark and Garyana Free. I hope you enjoyed my little singing thing there. It's Sunday, which means a new video, and today's video we are going to be deciding who should have actually won the battles in season 3, where they competed in pairs to find out who would be on the internationals team. And someone suggested this video not too long ago, I think it was literally like last week, but I thought it was a really good idea because I love a bit of a controversial video. And actually I think there's around 4 people that I think shouldn't have won their battles, and they in fact did. So it might be quite interesting to find out. And also I think it'd be good to have a discussion in the comments down below on who you think should have made the team when the internationals battles happened. The thing with these auditions is that we never actually saw the extended versions of them, because when they were in the show there was a lot of talking heads inserted, like that, which is their little interviews, so we don't know the full extent of what their audition was like. They could have done moves that were amazing but were actually cut out, so we'll never know. I don't think they should have done talking heads at all during those auditions, because they should have been literally like show the viewers the pure raw talent and have us decide who should be on the team, rather than it just being based on a few moves that we see. So that's probably a flaw that I'd say if I ran the show I would have changed that. So the first battle we had to get onto the internationals team was between Alden and Hunter. I felt like, because obviously this was the first time we saw the dancers dance in season 3 compared to season 2, if you don't include like that opening dance that they did at the beginning of the season, Hunter definitely showed a lot of improvement. His moves were really sharp, and he did his signature head slide, which was fine, but overall I just felt like his performance aspect was a lot better than it was in season 2. Speaking of the head slide though, he kind of slipped a little bit running into it. Like, I don't know if that's just me having a good dancer choreographer eye, but I could definitely tell that he kind of had to get his balance before he full on ran into it. So that is a little downside for me. When we talk about Alden though, Alden he had so much energy and he was powerful and everything was really, really sharp. Alden showed that he has amazing technique as well as being a performer and very versatile. Like his tumbling that he started off with was a great way to give a first impression, because he was amazing at that. So overall I think the winner of the battle between Alden and Hunter was Alden, which is what happened, so that one is correct. The next battle was between Abby and Noah, and Noah had a little crush on Abby at this point in the show, but Abby was a bit oblivious to it. Well, Noah didn't actually want to compete against Abby, but it turned out that he had to, and ultimately Noah won the battle between them, and I also think that this was a correct decision. I felt like Noah's performance in season 3 really showed that he was starting to grow up. Like his style, even Alden said it was very much like Alden, and I think that is a very true comment. His pirouettes were excellent, his tumbling was excellent. I remember his split leap that he did, that was really, really good. So yeah, Noah just showed that he is A Troupe material. I really enjoyed Abby's audition, and I feel like Noah and Abby were quite evenly matched. Like Abby's technique is phenomenal. She's very good at being powerful even though she's so dainty. I feel like when she danced, Abby really showed that she did want to make the team, but the literally only thing that I can mark her down for was the stumble that was written into her audition. So yeah, literally if she hadn't have stumbled, then I really don't know who I would have picked to be on the team, because I think they're both evenly matched. The next battle was between Sierra and Skylar, and they battled in private because they were sisters and they didn't really want to like publicly humiliate one another by obviously having one of them kicked off and one of them let into the team. Sierra's dancing had a lot higher difficulty and she showed more variation in moves. Literally the only move that I can think of as being relatively impressive and A Troupe worthy that Skylar did was her back handspring, and we didn't even really see them dance that much because of how like many talking heads they inserted between the movements. So I really wish that we had an extended version of their solos, but ultimately Sierra was right to win that battle. The next pair to battle was West and Shannon, and I definitely think that Wes should have won this one, but I will give Shannon credit because I think she's a very good dancer, although it was clear that she was a bit weak on some of her moves and it wasn't really very full out, but she did have a very impressive start. She was focused and her extensions were really good, but Wes just brought something completely different. It was energetic and he never let the level drop from 100 all the way through. He gave something different, he showed his personality, and he just showed why he should be on A Troupe. The next pairing to battle is the first one that I think was a wrong decision, and that is Rochelle and Max. So for this battle, Max actually made it onto the team and Rochelle didn't, which I don't agree with when I review their auditions. I think that Rochelle brought something really, really different to the performances that we'd seen before them and just to everybody else on A Troupe. I feel like she'd bring something different on stage and to the performances. She'd be able to be highlighted, and to have someone so small is quite impressive. Like if I'm watching a dance performance and I see like everyone the same height and then a smaller dancer who's amazing, I'm going to be more impressed with that than say everyone who's the same height dancing at the same kind of level. Rochelle did moves that people on A Troupe can't do. She even made up her own moves, like Eldon said. So I really think she should have been given a bit more credit. But obviously she did get promoted to B Troupe after she did auditions, so that was kind of like, what's it called? Condolence? No. Consolation. A consolation for her not getting onto the team. She got onto B Troupe. Chloe said that Rochelle and Max were the most evenly matched dancers that are battling, and I really don't agree. I don't feel like Max and Rochelle were similar in any way, really, and I didn't feel like it was that tough a competition between them. I feel like Rochelle definitely should have won. In terms of evenly matched competition, I'd much rather say Noah and Abby were the most similar, most likely. So we have to get on to Max, and Max was very good in his battle. His tumbling was very powerful, all of his moves were strong, and he kind of didn't let up his game face. I understand why Max did get onto the team, because he is a good asset to A Troupe. He fits in well, and obviously having another male on the team kind of evenly distributes the genders on the team, and also obviously Max is strong so he can do some of the lifting and just stuff like that. I feel like he's more useful to the team than Rochelle would be, especially as Rochelle's so small, she would have to be featured in majority of the routines, otherwise it would just look odd. So I understand it from that point of view, but I think because they were basing it purely on performance, Rochelle definitely should have made it, because Rochelle impressed everyone a lot more than Max did. The next pair that battles were James and Riley, and Riley made it because James literally just stood there and didn't do an audition because he didn't want to have to battle against his girlfriend, which is very admirable of him. So yeah, Riley should have made the team, and she did. So that was a correct decision. I think if they put James in over Riley, who didn't even dance, then that would be a bit of a controversy. I do feel like that audition that Riley did was the best she'd danced so far. She used her face really well, and I particularly can remember her turns were very, very good. So yeah, Riley did deserve to make the team. So the next pair was Chantal and Mackenzie. Chantal won, but I honestly feel like Mackenzie should have won, even though we didn't see much from her audition. Chantal's audition for me was quite boring. It didn't have a very high energy level, and she didn't really seem too passionate about what she was performing. I feel like the few things that we did see from Mackenzie were more impressive than what we saw from Chantal. We didn't actually see much of Mackenzie's audition though, that's the thing. We saw her do like a few acro moves, but it was mostly overtaken by interviews, which I didn't think was very fair, because although it could have been strategic, because Chantal's audition wasn't too strong. So I guess by covering up majority of Mackenzie's, we'd automatically think that Chantal's was better, even if it wasn't, maybe. I'm figuring you out, producers, I've got it. I felt like Chantal's music was actually more hard-hitting than she was, and I definitely didn't agree with Kate when she said that Chantal really wanted to make the team and that she looked really focused. I just felt like Chantal looked bored. Like, I kind of get it, because that's kind of her character. Like, she doesn't really want to put in the work to get the rewards, but I just wasn't impressed, to be honest. The next battling people were Chloe and Jen, and controversial, but I actually think Jen should have made the team instead of Chloe. And I love Chloe. Like, Chloe's one of my long-term favourite characters, so don't come for me. I don't hate Chloe, I'm analysing it from a very objective point of view. Chloe's performance was very different to what we've seen previously of her, and her technique was on point. Like, I'm not going to knock her for that, but Jen's performance was a lot more, she had a lot more stage presence, she used her face a bit more, and it was more hard-hitting and impressive than I found Chloe's. Because obviously, like I've just said, Chloe did a better performance, like the best we've seen on the show. We only know that because we've seen her previously, and the elite dancers wouldn't have really seen Chloe dance, like, other than in the routines that they've actually seen at regionals and whatever. So I think purely based on that one performance, Jen's was just more impressive. So yeah, I think it was a bit subjective for the next step to vote for Chloe, because they probably did it for the same reasons I've just said. Like, that was the best she's danced. She gave it something a bit different to what she normally would. But yeah, I was just more impressed with Jen's. Jen's facials were generally just better, and she had a more consistent energy level. So the next pair was Nick and Talia, and I think that their next step and elite were right to vote for Talia as the winner, because I think Talia's performance was one of the best of the battles as a whole. Nick is a very strong dancer and very technical, but I feel like all he did, or all he showed, was just his tumbling, and obviously that's not very versatile if they don't want tumbling in the internationals routine. So I agree that he shouldn't have made the team. Talia's routine was something new and fresh. She gave a new kind of outlook on contemporary, because it wasn't just all fluid movements. She did a lot of dynamic stuff in there, new moves, like she did like a windmill turn. I'm not sure if it's called that, but that's what I'm going to call it for this video. Her extensions were really, really good as well, and it wasn't repetitive. Like, she didn't do the same moves all the way through. She definitely gave something different each time. So yes, Talia definitely should have won. Next was Amanda versus Tess, and once again I agree with the decision that Amanda should have made the team. Tess dances like she knows that she's amazing, and she only pretty much does turns and leg kicks. Like, that's pretty much just her entire repertoire. She'll do some different variations of that, but it's mostly just turns and leg kicks, or at least that's what we saw because of the amount of interviews that were put on top of her performance. Everything else she did was pretty average, and everyone at A Troupe can pretty much already do it. Her face is also very stiff. It's not like she's feeling dance, it's like she knows she's good, and she's overly confident in herself, which I didn't like. So yeah, Tess wouldn't have made the team in my opinion. Amanda's solo was very much like Chloe's and Talia's in that it gave something fresh and new, and it was something we hadn't really seen from Amanda before. It was like, Amanda can't do as much acro as the other dancers can, but I feel like she makes up for that with her extensions and everything else that she can do well. Like, she can turn, she can do great leg kicks and leg holds, and she can do a cartwheel. So she uses a cartwheel to her advantage. She doesn't just not do it because everyone else is doing back handsprings and whatever. Oh, she can also aerial, so she did an aerial. But yeah, Amanda's performance was just more impressive and more versatile, and she had more dynamics and different range of movements. The final pair that auditioned was Daniel and Giselle, and I actually think that Daniel deserved to win the battle purely because his performance was breathtaking, and even though he has a history with the next step, I just think they should have kind of forgotten all about that and just based it purely off the performances that they gave. Daniel always impresses me when he performs. Like, his extensions is amazing, his energy's up high, he always shows some new moves that he's done, and yeah, he's just one of my favourite dancers, and I felt like his audition was really impressive. Giselle was also very good and very fluid, and I did like the fact that she didn't just totally rely on acro. Like, she fused it with jazz and other things like that to make it something dynamic and something that wasn't predictable. So I really liked that, and I really appreciated that from her. Giselle has great stage presence, and she really puts her personality into her moves. Like, I liked when she jumped down into a box split and then she was like punching the air, and it was really like dynamic, and she just got the audience, or you know, her teammates on board with her. I don't know, I love Daniel's dancing, and I feel like he just had the edge over Giselle. Yeah, I just think that Daniel deserved to win. So that was me deciding who should have made the internationals team in season 3 based off the battles they did. I don't think I was too controversial, maybe a little bit, but comment down below who you think should have made the team. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, that's absolutely fine. And yeah, make sure you like this video, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye!